Hey, welcome back everybody. Cole's Farm here in Jacksonville, North Carolina. So, it's another Sunday, which means it's another time to inspect. I was trying to use the queen clip to grab a drone that was on top of the frame spacer here. So, you'll see in previous videos, picked it up on Amazon, came in late last week. This is my first time using it in the colonies. I reduced the top box. So last week I reduced the hives down to a single brood box. I moved the queen excluder between the two brood boxes, so the top one's acting as a honey super now to maximize our honey harvest and to also make things a little easier as far as inspecting goes. So if you have a queen right colony, you know, having the queen in one box, you always know where she is. When you have a double deep, which I've done for quite some time, it does make it a little more difficult to find the queen because now you're checking two boxes or 20 frames instead of one box, 10 frames. So that's one of the reasons I did it. It's been proven that there's plenty of cells. Each deep frame has about 7,500 cells. So you figure there's 75,000 cells in a single deep 10 frame box for the queen to lay in. And there's enough videos online and everything, or tutorials or blogs or whatever you want to call it, of people doing the math, and it makes total sense to run a single brood chamber. So one, the ease aspect for sure is a perk, but then it's been proven, like I'm trying to say, the queen has plenty of space to lay eggs. I did reduce this is a shallow, I did reduce the shallow super, traditional super, to a 9 frame last week, and then eyeballed the spacing. But this week, since I have the frame spacer, I'm going to use that on both boxes. And what else? So this colony's been limping along for quite a while. So in my opinion, I think we're in the danger zone as far as them possibly still being queenless, to where the pheromone is most likely completely dissipated, and the worker bees, if you don't know this, once the queen's pheromone dissipates, they're unfertilized. That's why the queen is she mates and becomes fertilized. But once that pheromone dissipates, the worker bees, being female, can turn into a laying worker situation, which I've never experienced. Knock on wood. Hopefully I don't experience it here in a little bit. But a telltale sign that you have a laying worker is you'll have multiple eggs in every single cell. A new queen, I don't think I've experienced this, but a new queen might drop more than one egg in a cell, and then eventually it's one egg per cell once she gets experienced, I guess. But a laying worker, you'll have multiple egg, like multiple 5, 6, like a lot of eggs in every single cell. So we'll see how that goes. I say we're in the danger zone because this hive has been queenless for quite a few weeks, maybe over a month now. I do have a frame on standby, I'll show you. So if they are queenless, again, I have that frame on standby with a capped swarm cell. I have moved frames of eggs into this colony before, so we'll just see how things are looking this week. And well, that frame that I have on standby might help them. Who knows? Let me get some fuel. Yeah, if you look back at previous videos, coming out of winter, I didn't do a full inspection, but I took a picture of a few frames out of the top boxes, and I mean, this colony was doing fantastic. And then they decided to swarm, and ever since they swarmed, it's been a struggle to get them healthy again. I mean, the easy way to do things is to buy a queen, but I really just wanted to do it myself, honestly, without buying a queen from somebody, because it's just the easy way to do things. Yeah, I think, I mean, I know that's a quick assessment. Golly. I know that's a pretty quick assessment by just opening the honey super and making a judgment, but based off the other colonies, you know, if you got a super on and everything, at this point, if they're producing brood, meaning new bees are hatching out and everything, you definitely expect to see more activity in the top box. But either way, just to kind of continue to give them space and everything, like I said, I'm gonna drop this down or reduce it down to a 9 frame. I thought I did last week, but I guess not. And then move into the next super, which is a deep. It smells good. I think it smells good in here, but alright, so that's spaced evenly now. Let's do the same for this box. Move the camera a little bit. I'm sure you can see that. There's probably other tools on the market that work a little better than this, but honestly, it's not that big of a deal to me. This works just fine. Alright, let's give them some smoke. It's just like any hive that might be queenless. I think people have used the term flighty. They're a little more flighty than usual, meaning a little more agitated. Of course the smoker doesn't want to work with me right now. Alright. Hopefully that's enough to keep them at bay. Alright, I am going to check a few frames just in case they had an egg or something up here and they've capped it, which is what happened to the frame that I showed you that I'm using as an emergency queen cell. Because yeah, some of the top boxes did have eggs in it, so at this point there is a possibility that they capped it. It's a brand new bee right there, that dust on the bottom. So the other to me is, and I mentioned this in the previous post, I mean they're hatching out still. There's that new bee, but it was the other frame. They had a few, like this one here, they had a few patches of brood that they were uncapping, and you know, I shared that post with, you know, online, and a few folks commented, and I knew it was traits of a hygienic behavior, like if there's a high mite load, that would be out. Look at that white pollen. If there's like a high mite load, I am aware of that's a potential behavior. They'll start going through and uncapping brood and everything. Where is it at? Where'd it just go? Alright, oh, no, is that it? Ah, I already lost it. I think it's that one. I've never seen a brand new drone before. Bye-bye. But yeah, people say it's a genetic behavior. If the mites are too high or something else in the hive is going on, they'll start uncapping the brood. But as you can see, and honestly I'd have to look back at previous videos to figure out how old this frame is that I moved over here. Because I did move some frames that had brood and then put it above the top box, so I'm sure, I have a feeling I'm not helping this hive along this year. So let's just check this last one. Didn't really mean to drop that, but stuff happens. It's got some nectar cap in that. Alright. So nothing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, you can see, look how agitated they are. And like I said, it's kind of a trait of a queenless hive. They're just more agitated than usual. Let's hold on a sec. Let me relight this again. So I'm just gonna move through the bottom box as quickly as possible, checking for eggs and swarm cells. But if I recall, this hive hasn't had eggs in a while, so I'm just gonna drop that frame in the middle. Drop it into the 5th position, and just check on them for the weeks to come, of course, and hopefully I don't find any, hopefully I don't come across a lame liver situation, because that can definitely complicate things. Okay, that's that. Smoke them. Golly. Alright. Let's move this box off. And maybe the bees down below will be a little nicer. Probably not, if I had to guess. But hey, you never know. Seems like it got a little cloudy. I don't think we have any storms moving in, but this frame, I'm going to try and stick that back. Actually, I'm going to pull that frame out because one, it's garbage, and since I have a frame with a capped queen cell, I plan on putting in the center. That'll be a good replacement. Yeah, see, this is what's tripping me up. This is what's tripping me up with this colony, is there's pupated larvae. So, like usual, we check for eggs. But if there's pupated larvae that's not capped, that means those eggs were laid 10 days ago. Yeah, they have a queen. Well, man, this is, I'll tell you what, beekeeping is honestly trippy. They've struggled for the longest time, and now, let me see if I marked the frame that had a queen cell. I don't think I did. Yeah, they struggled for the longest time, and now they have I mean, just on this frame alone, which is what, the second frame, they have eggs. I mean, this thing is packed with eggs. There's eggs in practically every cell that can get an egg in it that doesn't have food or anything. If this hive has completely fixed itself, I mean, that is just, it's pretty cool. Because they struggled for the better part of like a month, like I was saying, of just nothing. You know, queen, yeah. Pupated larva. Where are we at? Let's see. Let's find some more eggs. Yep, single eggs. No kidding. Alright, well, now it kind of poses the question, like, what am I going to do with that frame over there that has the swarm cell on it? Now I'm curious if I can find her or not, because I want to see what she looks like. I want to see if she looks healthy, like nice fat abdomen, meaning she made it nicely. This hive stands a chance. That side, it's a weird frame. Not the best comb. I'll tell you what, man. It's just weird. Didn't want to do that. See, this frame has a ton of open cells, and you would kind of think the queen would lay in that one because the availability. Same with this, but no. No eggs at all. And then that frame's brand new, which, because this colony's limping along, I'm going to move that to the outside and move one of the more drawn frames into the center. Basically just going to slide everything over. It's a lot of food. Food as well. Those are some pretty new bees there. Alright. This is going to become a longer video because I'm about to slow down and thoroughly check for the queen. Because that second frame had so many eggs that this colony, I mean, I would call this colony queen right any day, but, and I'm still going to, it just feels weird because they've been struggling for so long. And then frames like this, even though it's on the left side of the box, which typically is where I find the most brood, has nothing in it. And nice new cells. Same with this one. This is a frame I would expect to see packed with eggs, but nothing on one side and just food on the other. And then this one here too, you would kind of think you'd see more eggs, considering the cell availability. Nope. Is this the... It's a weird thing. Sometimes. Was it this one? Really trying to find the queen right now. Look at the pollen on that one. Good lord. It's been doing some work. Alright, let's double check this one. What is this? This is frame 3. And frame 3 is just looking very good. Eggs, wet cells, so they're getting the right mixture of nectar and what's it called? Royal jelly and bee pollen. So I mean, they're getting what they need. Tons of pupated larvae on this side, scattered throughout, like wherever the egg could, or wherever the queen could lay, throughout all the pollen that was packed away when they were queenless. So that's frame 3. This is the frame I want to get rid of because it's falling apart. Watch your bee on here, because I didn't want to pull it out, you know. I mean, literally falling apart. I think I have another frame I can grab, because this one's just garbage, really. Let's see, I don't see it on that side. I don't see her on that side either. Check this one that's been sitting outside. So this is in the second position. It has a decent amount of food, but I mean, you can see the pupated larvae so easily. Yeah, I mean, this queen favors the right side of the box, which is the opposite. It's the complete opposite of the rest of the colonies. And I'm starting to think maybe because this colony catches the afternoon sun, so it hits the right side of the box more so than the left side. Really just want to find the queen so I can get a good look at her. And you know what? It just might not happen this time. She's in here somewhere. Alright, let's move this out of the way. Oh, you know what? I think I pulled this. What do we have here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Nope. Oh, man. Let me try and find a better frame, because this one's crap. Get all the bees off of that. Let me see if I got one in my bin over here. I guess that's a perk to having swarm traps nearby, so that's the better frame out of the swarm trap. Alright, well, I mean, there's frames of eggs over on this right side, so let's see. I'm just going to leave well enough alone. since maybe she likes the right side, face the right side of the frame with drawn comb to the right. See what happens in time. Alright, well, I'm going to say they're queen right, and there's eggs, pupated larvae, so just like another colony, maybe they just need more time to build up the frames of brood. But hey, that's good for now. And I think I'm going to donate that frame I showed you with the capped queen cell to hive number 2, because they're kind of struggling. I moved a frame of eggs from hive number 1 into that colony, but if I have a frame with a capped queen cell, that's even better. Alright, that does it for hive number 4. So surprisingly, it looks like they produced a queen at some point and she's returned and made it. I can only say that because I found eggs, single eggs, in quite a few cells and pupated larvae. So capped brood, worker eggs, larvae become capped around day 9 or 10. So I was out here a week ago. So they were eggs then, they pupated, and they haven't become capped yet. So yeah, they've become queen righted at some point. I don't want to put the cart in front of the horse by saying that too much. So at this point, I'm not going to make any changes, meaning I'm not going to move any frames of eggs or that frame with the capped queen cell. I'm not going to introduce that into this colony. I'm going to check on them next week and see how they're looking. By then, I would hope the bees have moved enough resources, enough nectar and pollen up into the upper boxes, the deep and the shallow, acting as honey supers, to free up some space in the single brood box so the queen can lay more eggs. So we'll see what happens as the weeks go by. Yeah, so that's that. Very interesting thing when you keep bees, seeing the changes from week to week. Check out that pollen. That is just something else. Nice bright orange pollen they're bringing in. And like usual, that's the typical look after an inspection. It's kind of pure chaos at the entrance. Yeah, at first, making assumptions and everything, at first I was assuming they were still going to be queenless because of how flighty they were, meaning just how agitated they were. It's kind of a sign people say, like before you inspect a colony or as you're getting into the boxes, if they're extra flighty or agitated, that they might be queenless, because the concept is like the pheromone is worn off and the bees are in kind of more survival mode because they don't have a queen. So I was expecting that or suspecting that at first, but after getting into the bottom deep, which is the brood chamber, and finding eggs and pupated larvae, I mean, those are the signs that you have a laying queen. So again, we'll have to see how things go week by week. Alright, that's enough from me for now. Thanks for tuning in, and like usual, if you haven't done so by now, please subscribe to the channel, and if you hit the bell, you'll receive notifications of future videos. Alright, thanks for watching, everybody.